and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be packing some supplies for my upcoming holiday. I've said it in a couple of my vlogs now that I will be going to Greece for 2 weeks, and I'd really like to take a lot of supplies and do a lot of art where I only film the odd snippet for YouTube, but it's basically me trying to unwind, decompress, de-stress, and just have 2 weeks of complete relaxation, ready to hit the ground running. I have plans. I've got a board full of all my ideas for the autumn winter launches, and I also have a lot of work that I know is going to be waiting for me when I get back to my day job. So I want to spend these 2 weeks relaxing and just doing as much art as possible. So I thought you could join me in choosing some supplies. I kind of want to do this a bit differently, a bit more relaxed though. I want to find some supplies that I filmed a studio tour recently, and I found some supplies whilst doing that I really want to explore and play with again, and so I want to test those out with the supplies I would usually take on holiday and see how they react, just do some swatching, do some really relaxed kind of doodling with it. I don't want to do a set piece of artwork with it, I just want to relax, choose the supplies, get them all packed up so that I'm ready to go and ready to put these in my bag for my holiday. So I thought I would bring you along and we can choose some and see where we get up to. So let's get to going through the supplies that I have in my head, seeing if we discover anything else along the way, and see how they all work together and what we can use them for. Okay, so I already know that whilst we were doing the studio tour, I discovered in one of my drawers that I really want to use some of these water-based brush pens. So these are the Artezas. They have a fine nib of real bristle head. So I really want to use that. I think that's going to be a really nice supply to use. So I want to grab all of those. I want to see what colours I kind of think I'm going to use, and let's just grab all of these basically. Let's just grab this whole tray here. We're going to pop this on here. There are some other things in there, but I'll take them out. So that's the first thing I want to take. The second thing, surprise, surprise, I want to take my Winsor & Newton pigment markers. Now, I'm obviously not going to take all of these. We've done tests in the past, so I kind of want to do just some more to see what colours I'd like to take. It's probably going to be pretty similar to the ones I took when I went to Italy recently, but let's grab these trays as well, and let's pop these down here with those other pens. All right, we have an absolute plethora of supplies here. As I started pulling them out, I just wanted to keep pulling out more and more. So we definitely have a lot of testing to do. I think doing a piece of artwork is not the way to go in this instance. I think it's playing it around, just seeing what overlays with one another, what works well together, because there's no point taking 5 different supplies and none of them meld together and work together. So we're definitely gonna have to do a lot of testing. So just a quick overview of what we've got before we get onto it. We have a mixture of Arteza water-based brush pens with those bristle nibs just to test those out. We have some Faber Castell Polychromos pencils. We have some masking fluid. I don't know whether I want to take this because I don't want it to burst in my bag. We have some Graphitint, Derwent Graphitint paints. I really want to test these out. Really nice moody paintings. We have some gouache in my Go drawer. We have Winsor & Newton watercolours in my Etchr mini palette. We have a spray bottle. We have, this is what I'm excited to try as well, we have a Rowney FW mixed media paint pen, and I just want to see what I want to do with that. I've got some acrylic inks here. We're going to test that out, but I'll run that through when we start. We have some Winsor & Newton pigment markers. We've got some Caran d'Ache Neocolor crayons. We also have some Derwent Inktense blocks. We have a mixture of sketchbooks that I want to test out. We have my Etchr mini palette, mini Satchel, that's the one. We have that. I don't actually remember what's in that from the last time I took it away, so we need to run through that. But I'm really excited actually. I didn't know how this video was going to go, but I'm really excited to test these out. So let's bring you in closer, do a bit of an overhead, let's test some bits out and see what works well, what we're going to take, and get on with it really. All right, let's move some of these things out the way. So firstly, and I think it's the most important thing to do, let's run through my mini satchel, see what's in here, see what we want to keep. Move those so this stop rolling. So I think first things first is we have my viewfinder. I am going to take this because if there's some really nice looking sunsets or some really nice views, this is going to be perfect to capture how I want to paint them. So we're definitely going to keep that in the front there. Then inside, we've got a real nice mix actually. We've got a couple of kneadable erasers. I did get another one out, so that's always handy to have. Let's move all the erasers to one side. I am going to bring this Derwent Slim Eraser. We just received one of these in a scrawler box, but I have two now, so let's pop one of those permanently in here. We have, of course, a bulldog clip and one of these miscellaneous clips for holding my sketchbook down if it's a bit windy or something. So again, another essential. A pencil. I don't think I'm going to take the Staedtler. It's just a school pencil. I think we've got better pencils than that, so let's pop that to one side. We have a natural rubber for doing watercolour paintings. Again, another essential. We have a couple of water brushes in here. Let's not ruin the nib. We've got a nice flat head water brush. And what's this? That's a nice fine headed water brush there. So two very good ones. So we'll keep those in, I think. We have my Scritchy Scratchy ink pen, which is always a staple in this. Maybe we will take an ink away actually. Let's go and grab one of those now. You should be able to still hear me. I've got my mic on. I do have 4 little pots, which I will bring into view shortly. I received these in a scrawler box. I actually don't know what the brand ink is, but they're really beautiful inks. So maybe I might take 1 or 2 of these away. Probably not the yellow or the white because they won't show up very well, but maybe this green and this red. Let's make sure these lids are on very securely because that would be nice to scritch and scratch away with that ink pen. Let's pop these 2 back. Quite like having this little mic on, you can hear me everywhere I'm going. In this, so I think I showed this in an old vlog, this actually has some of my, what do you call them? These things, Inktense blocks. That actually has some of my Inktense blocks in. Now I have multiple sets of these that I was purchased for my birthday. I've got some more here, but I want to do some tests to see if there's any in this bigger set, any colours in there that I think I'm going to need more, but we've got quite a few little tins of those now, so they can pop to one side. And then I think we've got some generic stuff, some more fine erasers there, a nice thick pencil, a liner, some more pencils. This is quite a lot of pencils. I don't think we need those. These 2 I'm going to take out. I'm actually going to replace it with this Pentel Side FX 0.5. I really like this pencil, so I'm going to pop that in there. We have some replacement nibs. Actually, let's just see if that's the right size because I'm taking out... Yes, it is. Oh, I think I have some 2B. Again, you're coming along with me. We're going to pop these 2... mechanical pencils in there. Yes, I do. I have some 2B, which is my favourite weight of pencil. I have some 2B replacement nibs in the 0.5, which is perfect for that pencil. So I'm going to pop those in there. Actually, it's not very tight. So we're going to take that out, actually. We're going to pop that in one of these here. Perfect. We have my homemade ink pen there. We've got a Faber Castell 0.6, quite thick. We have a Staedtler pigment liner in 0.1. Interesting. I think I'm going to take those out. Let's replace those as well. I think the 0.6 is quite thick. And the 0.1, maybe we'll keep the 0.1. I'm sure I have a Copic liner in here. All right, I can't find it. So I'm going to keep that Staedtler 0.1 in there. But we are going to replace that 0.6. It's just a bit thick for my liking. It's not something I use very often, a nice thick pen like that. I prefer the finer nibs. I think I have a Zig. Yes, here we go. This will do. I have a Zig Millennium 03. This one here in 0.3. So it's slightly thicker than this one, but not too thick. So I'm actually going to pop those in the left there with this makeshift ink pen. Fill up that side. Likewise with that, can dot in there. Okay, anything else I want to put in here? Not right now. We'll finish filling that, but that's that cleared out and ready for some new supplies in there. So let's pop that to one side. Next, so my sketchbook choices are, I have my Etchr Cold Press A5 sketchbook. I have a Moleskine watercolour sketchbook as well. I think this is hot press. Now I've done some travelling art in here, but it's really an eclectic mix in here, really, of stuff. Whereas, oh, actually, I think it's an eclectic mix in both of these. We've got a bit of travelling in both. We've got a bit of doodling, some stuff. So I think I'm going to take both of these, and we're going to just do some tests in this one, I think. I feel like it's going to hold things better. I think these are the only sketchbooks I'm going to take. I was going to open my A4 Etchr sketchbook, but I don't know if I want the weight of a big A4 sketchbook, to be honest. So I think I'm just going to stick with this. So we're going to do our tests in here. Let's pop that to one side, remove this. Can you see this? Yes. Okay, so the first thing I'm really excited about is this. I bought this for my birthday a long time ago. It's an FW mixed media paint marker, and it has the biggest nib I have ever seen. And basically, I want to fill this. You're meant to fill these with the FW acrylic inks, and that's what I want to do. I want to fill it and then take this away with me. And basically, my idea for this is to have it as like a makeshift background for doing art on. So I don't want something too dark, because otherwise a lot of the supplies are not going to show up on it. But I obviously don't want something too light either. I want something impactful. Now, my thought process was, when you do acrylic painting, more often than not, it's either a very bright colour, like a pink or something, which you then end up covering because it's acrylic, or it's kind of a sepia, isn't it? It's more of a sepia colour. So I had a look, and we have a sepia here, and we also have this red earth colour here, which is a bit more reddy. And I thought we could test these out before we fill this and choose the final colour that goes in this. And who knows, in the future, if I really like doing this, I might just get loads of these for all of my inks. But I thought we could try this out and see what colour would be best. I want to just test it out with a paintbrush. Basically, we're going to do it on this side here. I'm going to just do 2 little patches, let it dry, and then we'll try some of the supplies over the top, see whether things show up, because if they don't, what's the point in doing it? We may as well choose a lighter colour like a yellow or something. So let's test it out. I don't know whether you're meant to mix water in here. I would imagine not. But I'm probably not going to fill this whole barrel up. I'm probably just going to go halfway or something, because I don't want to put my entire ink in there. But let's give these a good shake up so that there's no pigment on the bottom. There's definitely a lot on that red earth. Give it a real shake up. Okay, so let's try the sepia first. So these are acrylic inks. Oh, that dropper's a bit gunky in there. That might take a bit of time to clear. Anyway, let's just dump this in here. Let's go. Okay, so that's sepia again. That's why everyone uses like an umber or like a nice light colour. So I would imagine the pen's going to lay it on quite nice and light. So I don't know how to read it. I don't know how the pen's going to react. So it's quite difficult to tell at the moment. So that's that sepia colour. It's got quite a nice light shade. Maybe we could add a smidge of water. It might help. Okay, and then this red earth colour is pretty damn red, and I guess that is the name that is in there. Let's give this a try. Oh, it is a lovely colour though. Oh, I already can tell. I mean, this has a little bit of water mixed in because it was on my brush, but again, I can add a little bit of water into the pen, I think, just to keep it nice and light. But that red colour is beautiful. I actually think that's going to be a good one. It's a nice, really nice warm tone, which is exactly what you want. So we're going to let those dry, so then we'll come back to filling this. The next thing, which I'm going to do on this side of the page, is testing out some of these pens. I want to narrow these colours down. So we're going to Greece, and it's by a pool. It's kind of a sit by the pool type holiday, but there is a beach there. There is going to be sand, there is going to be the sea, there is going to be water, there's going to be palm trees, animals, wildlife. So we want earthy tones, we want natural tones, we don't want anything bright and colourful. So we're going to rule out a lot of like purples, pinks, things like this. This colour, I would probably only bring one of those as just a wild card if I want to add any colour to things. I don't know if I'll go very abstract on this holiday, but I mean, weirder things have happened. So I think we're going to go for some yellows. We'll have to test out which of these yellows is best. Obviously some deep browny colours, some reddy colours, greens are definitely going in there, blues for sure are going in there. Do we want some greys to add some contrast, some colour? Maybe. So let me sort through all of these and see which colours I want, and then we'll do some swatches on the top here. Same with these pigment markers, let's do some swatches. I'll bring you nice down and close so you can get some nice close views of those, and then we'll narrow them down. We'll do some choices on there and see what we can narrow down to the colours that we think we're going to bring. So basically I didn't narrow this down very much at all, so we still have a hell of a lot of colours in here, so we're going to really rapidly go through this. We're going to just do some quick swatches. I'm going to keep these in order so I know when I have a look at the end result which ones I want to negate, because I don't want to be taking this many, it's far too many. So these are water based, so we can add water to these, which is really nice. We can use a water brush, add a smidge of water, get these to blend. We are on watercolour paper after all, so that's always a win. And that's, I mean, that was my draw to these for this holiday. I think I'd like to use more things. See, those 4 browns, we don't need all 4 of those. That's ridiculous. That's a lot. I mean, I did say I wanted earthy tones, but, you know. I did try and keep these in some sort of resemblance of order. I thought that was a black. It looks more blue. That's kind of a greeny grey. I need to decide. Basically, as I was saying, and I cut myself off. That's a very greeny colour. I want to basically take no more than 10 of these. There's going to be quite a lot, and I don't need to be taking that many. I'm not going to be using them enough to be warranting all of these. That's too many. Like I say, there's going to be a lot of colours that are very similar, or I could probably just about do without. So once we finish this, we can definitely narrow this down. But so far, I think I've chosen some good colours. I think it's very fitting for doing wildlife things and doing nature and scenes and landscapes. So I think I've done a good job so far with narrowing this down. I did probably cut this down by half, so I guess that's progress. Hopefully we can cut this down by another half at least. Although I don't know, actually, looking at all these colours, I could definitely get away with taking all of these, but I'm not going to. I really do not want to be carrying all of these around. It's quite a lot, because the likelihood of me whipping all of these out outside of the pool is not very likely, so we want like just a handful really. Okay, so looking at those, that was a real rapid go at that, but looking at those, I think I don't know, am I going to use a red that bright? Probably not. Get that out. Take that out. Okay, there's 4 browns here. I definitely think the reddier brown we could probably get rid of. So that would have been 1, 2, 3 along. So let's get rid of that reddy brown. Out of these 4 here, these 2 are very similar. Let's get rid of this mid-tone brown. So the next one along, get rid of that. The greys and the greeny grey here. I like that greeny grey, probably less like this green here, so let's get rid of that. That green's a bit too bright for my liking, although is it a good contrast with these? Yes, let's take away this bluey green then. So that's that one, take away that one. This is too turquoise for me, take away that. This is too purple, blue? This one. 2 purple of a blue. Let me just double check this is the right one. No, that's that one. Where is it? Oh gosh, I've done this terribly. That's that one. Oh, it was that one then. Get rid of that one too. These two are very similar, so let's get rid of the lighter one. Okay. Like I say, in these greeny colours and the greys, let's get rid of these 2 coloured greys. We don't need those. This blue is very bright. I think we get rid of that too. Okay, how many is that are we left with? That's a nice small handful there. Not too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pens. Okay, let's have a look at the bottom, see if we can narrow these out. Do we want this very bright orange here? Do we? I don't know. If we do a sunset, am I going to do a sunset? No. Let's get rid of that. This bright yellow? No. Let's get rid of that too. Is that this colour? Yes. Let's get rid of that. I think that looks like a really nice earthy set. You know what? I'm going to go with that. I think we've narrowed that down. We've got 14. That's not too bad. Okay, so that's those narrowed down. Let's move on to the pigment markers. I'm not going to do a full swatch of all of them because I have taken these away. I've done these swatches many a time. So I'm going to just choose what I think and swatch those down. So I'm not going to talk over that bit. We'll do some filming of that just without any talking and see where we get up to. Right, so Natalie has come in with some information that is quite vital. I was asking what colours I should do with my Caran d'Ache Neo colours. Now, if you don't know what these are water-soluble wax crayons. They're quite incredible. This is my swatch for them. Look at the incredible colours. I love using them. But as Natalie says, it's very, very hot. We're around 30 degrees and Celsius, that is. And Natalie was saying that they might melt, and I think she may be correct, and I don't want to risk that. I love these. I also don't want to risk taking one or two and them cracking in half. So we're going to leave these behind. Maybe we'll do some art from the holiday when we get back with these, but we're going to leave them behind. Then I was looking at my Inktense blocks, and I was going to choose some from here. I do have a really nice range of a smaller range outside of this 36 pack. And I've just gone through them. I've taken out a few of the duplicates from this set here. I've popped them all in here and just taken a couple of halves as well so that it all fits in. So I'm going to leave this small set here behind. I think I'm just going to take those. I'm worried that I'm going to smash them, and this set is beautiful. Look at that. I don't want to ruin it. So again, that is off the menu. We've made some decisions. We've cut some things back. I don't want to be carting around too much either, so we've narrowed that down to this small tin here, so I'm quite pleased with that. Then we had the epiphany that it's going to be a lot of blue sky, it's going to be a lot of sea, it's going to be pool, there's going to be a lot of blue, basically, and we're not using acrylics. I mean, we will still test these, but we're not using acrylics, so it's going to be really difficult to cover such a dark, deep, natural colour. We were looking at some artwork that I did from my last holiday to Cyprus it was, and this is one of my favourite pieces of artwork from that holiday. Now that is using these Winsor & Newton pigment markers, so I've kind of had a look. I'm taking pretty much all the colours in here, a different green. I did bung in a yellow because we noticed that where the sun's hitting, where there's sand and stuff, we're going to need a yellow, so let's take that. I have a grey, a couple of greys, a dark and a light grey. We have a mixture of blues, we've got the white and we've got the mixer, so I feel like that's a good amount of stuff for doing this. But looking at it, why are we not doing ink washes, like we were talking about with these, of blue? Now, the only light blue I have is this cyan colour. I just did a swatch of it on here so that we can do some tests. However, the sepia from this on my brush did mix with it, so it's looking a bit greeny, but we get the gist. So we're going to do some tests now of all the supplies on top of these ink washes. Then we're going to fill that up and see how it works and lay down some colour. And I think then we're probably set, to be honest. So let's try out some of the pigment markers on there. I think firstly, and probably most importantly, let's try the white on here, because that is what's going to stand out. Just ignore these ratty nibs. These pigment lines are terrible for this, and I think that's why they've been discontinued, to be quite honest. But it's still, maybe it doesn't. I do have a second white in this set. Let's have a look. Maybe we don't take that one. Here we go. Okay, so see, that's it. That pigment line is just being absorbed into that. The white's not going over it. It's obviously not going to go over this blue either, but because it's a lighter colour, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to get rid of this white because it is wrecked. So let's see if we can lay down darker colours on this then. Yep, works pretty well. Works well on all of them. I'm just going to go ahead and say that this sepia colour is being discontinued. We're probably going to go brick red if we were going to go for either of these colours. Yeah, darker colours lays over it, but it does absorb quite heavily into these. But again, the blue. I think it's the blue. And to be quite honest, thinking about future projects as well, blue is a good colour to have. Always in the sky, isn't it? So I think that's good. Let's see if I put yellow over this blue. Is it going to turn it greeny? Oh, it does. I like that. I like this. Okay, blue's a winner so far. So the pigment liners, for the most part, go over the top. It is blending in a little bit. The water-soluble pens go over the top. What I like about these brush pens is they're very... You can lay them down nice and thick like this, nice and smooth. But they also have that kind of like dry brush quality, and I think that's going to be really nice for some projects. So yeah, these colours lay over the top really nicely, so that's good to know. So they're going to work with it really well. Let's have a look at the Inktense blocks. So these are water soluble blocks. They act like watercolours and slash ink, and they dry like ink, so they are non-reactable. You cannot add water and make them dissolve again in the water. So a really interesting thing. I'm just going to do some scratches on here in a few different colours, and then we're going to add a bit of water to these and just see how they react. Let's try a light colour. This yellow will do. So you can use them like chalk like this, which is quite handy. I want to see. Let's test. Okay, I'm going to use my big brush just to get this going. So they dissolve over the top. It's not reactivating that acrylic ink, which is always nice, and I guess that's why it's acrylic ink. Can't really see it on that sepia. Again, I think we've already written that one off. It might create really nice like overlays over the top. It does make that yellow green, which is quite nice. I like that. Okay, so that works really well. Let's test some gouache over the top. Now, gouache, obviously opaque colours. It should. Let's even try white over the top. This is going to be a telltale sign, because if we can use the gouache over the top and create opaque colour. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. I'm liking this. Let's try a bit of reddy colour. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think the blue is going to be the best option. It's a nice light colour. It's going to be perfect for sky and sea, like we say. I just think it's the one. So, okay, I like all the supplies. The pencil's going to go over it. We all know that. That's a given. I think all the other supplies go over these really well. I think they work together quite well. We can definitely work the pigment markers, the water-based brush markers together, this ink wash together, pencils, watercolours, gouache. I think they all work really cohesively. I think we've chosen some really nice supplies. Let's fill up this paint marker, get it juicy, and see. I don't want to add another page because this is like a really nice swatchy page. Let's see how it lays down. I don't know whether we need to add a bit of water to it, but I'm going to go straight into it. But I'm going to bring you down so you can see the satisfying nature of filling this up. All right, let me know your thoughts. I know I'm making all these decisions. You don't really have a say, but let me know your thoughts. If you think I'm making the right decision with this blue, I think I'd use these way more pigmented. I think I'd probably lift the colour from the Inktense blocks with a paintbrush, use them a bit thicker, but I do think this is going to be the perfect base for all these mediums for when I'm doing certain things. So we're going to fill this up. Let's get you focused on that first. Can you see that nice and focused? Let's pull you down a smidge. Just a smidge. There we go. I do just think this is going to work. So this, again, like I say, is the Cyan FW Acrylic Artist Ink. We're going to give it a good shake up. Make sure it's really shaken. Right, let's fill this up. I'm hoping this dropper's working. Yes, it is. So I don't think I'm going to fill this fully up, although I don't want to be left short. God, this is terrifying, but if I really like doing this, I might have to get some more of these pens, because imagine doing really big pieces with all these inks, like getting them all to overlay. Oh, I've always loved my acrylic inks, and I use them predominantly with my dip pens or my scratchy pens. You'll only know that if you follow me for a while. So it's really nice to use these in a different way, because I have a lot of ink. I definitely have a lot of ink. I'm a bit concerned I'm going to use this up too quickly. Should I add water? Oh gosh, if I shouldn't be adding water and I add water, you're going to be screaming at me in the comments. Do I add water? Right, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to fill this up halfway. We're going to give it a little test. If it's not flowing how I want it to flow, we're going to add a smidge of water. It's better to add it afterwards than it is before. Okay. Right, make sure all this is on tight. I'm going to put this in a bag. Okay. Oh my god, I'm scared. I'm very scared. So we do the pump action. Get this saturated. Now, again, it doesn't matter about flow either. If this ends up being too saturated, then we obviously need to... Yeah, look at that. It's going to be quite thick. I think I'm going to add water. I don't want it that colour. Let me go and add some water and we'll reconvene and do some more testing on this page. Alright, I've added water. The only problem with that is it's flowing a lot flowier, so I do have to be careful about leaking. So again, I'm probably going to put this in a bag. It's still laying on quite saturated. It's still laying on quite thick. So we may have to do some of these tests again, but look at this. We can go over the top of things. We can... It's pretty damn cool, isn't it? It's really cool. I want it to run just a smidge bit thinner. I don't want to add too much water. I don't want this to leak. I don't want it to start seeping out. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm nervous. These pages are awful as well. I've really ruined them, haven't I? Yeah, it's a lot thicker. I guess I could add a paintbrush and some water to it if I don't want it too thick. This is going to have to stand upright in my bag. I'm going to let these dry, see how they dry. We're going to then overlay on the top. Again, I'm not going to talk on that bit. I'm just going to do it, and then we'll talk afterwards about our thoughts. Okay, so I've added way more water, and it's still applying quite thick, but then when I thought about it, maybe I'll use this for a sky, or for when I'm doing pencil over the top. I think that's the best option. And then if I want it thinner, like this, like my first test with it, then I just get some water in a paintbrush and I add some extra water to it. I think that's the best way to go. So far it doesn't seem to be leaking, which is good, but I think I'll still probably put it in a bag. I'll make sure it's upright at all times as well. This swatching page is not as satisfying as I was hoping it would be, but I do feel like we've narrowed down the colours. So we have, let's pop this to one side, we have a really nice selection of my Winsor & Newton pigment markers. We have a really nice selection of these Arteza brush markers as well. We have narrowed down a nice selection of Inktense blocks. We have a lovely blue background pen. We have some... what are these called? We have some gouache, we have some watercolours. I think I'm going to take these Graphitint watercolours as well. I think they're going to be really moody for moody things. We have some pencils, and then we have just some sketching supplies and things, which I think will be perfect. And my 2 sketchbooks. I think that's a really nice narrow amount. It's going to be really nice to test all these out even further, create some more art. I hope this was an interesting video. I had a lot of fun testing these supplies out, and if you want me to test out some more supplies together or do some really mixed media artworks, do let me know. I hope this is interesting for you. I was clutching at straws a little bit, but I wanted to bring you along with my thought process, and I hope you enjoyed it anyway and maybe gave you some ideas too. I'm sure you will see how it goes with this pen. I was really excited about it. I'm feeling a little bit dubious about it now, but I'm sure it will work out soon. So I hope you've enjoyed. Please hit that thumbs up if you have. Comment down below whether you think I've made some bold decisions, some bad decisions, some good decisions. Please let me know. And I'll catch you after the holiday for some art reveals, maybe some mini little videos of what I'm doing and getting up to. And I will see you then. So have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.